Very good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Studio 7 Women's Roundtable on Live Talk this Thursday, September the 23rd, 2021. I'm Marvelous Mflanganya. We are broadcasting from my home in Washington, D.C. due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
And I'm Praxedis Jeremiah.
And tonight we are going to be looking at COVID-related issues and some of the programs that women are running despite this COVID pandemic.
And this we are doing on the backdrop of the United Nations General Assembly, in which President Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected or should have been delivering his speech right now, since he couldn't make it to New York here in the United States for the UNGA meeting.
Yes, PJ, the United Nations General Assembly is actually currently running in New York. And let's take a listen to what the President of the United States, Mr. Joe Biden, actually said at this meeting, because he literally also mentioned countries like Zambia and how they have managed to be able to have democracy in their own countries after elections that were held recently. But let's take a look and listen to what President Joe Biden said at the United Nations General Assembly.
In his first address to the United Nations General Assembly, U.S. President Joe Biden declared his administration ready to help the world tackle global challenges.
Ending this pandemic, addressing the climate crisis, managing the shifts in global power dynamics, shaping the rules of the world on vital issues like trade, cyber, and emerging technologies, and facing the threat of terrorism as it stands today.
Recognizing rising U.S. tensions with China and Russia, Biden said major powers must manage relationships and avoid conflict.
The United States is ready to work with any nation that steps up and pursues peaceful resolution to shared challenges, even if we have intense disagreements in other areas, because we'll all suffer the consequences of our failure.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also urged immediate action.
COVID and the climate crisis have exposed profound fragilities as societies and as a planet. Yet instead of humility in the face of these epic challenges, we see hubris. Instead of the path of solidarity, we are on a dead end to destruction.
Biden promised to boost funding up to $11.4 billion to help developing nations cope with the ravages of climate change and build greener economies. Some are skeptical of his commitment.
The U.S. also has a history of making fairly large pledges of support for international climate finance, but missing them when it comes to actually sending the money.
Still, Biden's speech is a departure from his predecessor's rejection of multilateralism and globalism. But he faces an uphill battle convincing allies that America is back and ready to lead.
The fiasco that took place in Afghanistan over the last few weeks of the withdrawal certainly caused a lot of alarm in many key capitals. And I think that President Biden needs to use global forums like the UNGA meetings to try to send a very important message to the world, including NATO partners and treaty allies in Asia, that despite what may have happened in Afghanistan, the U.S. remains committed to its allies and its partners.
Despite the chaotic withdrawal, Biden framed the U.S. exit from Afghanistan as an end to relentless war and the beginning of a new era of relentless diplomacy. But on the diplomatic front, Biden is already dealing with French anger over the recent U.S. and U.K. announcement to provide nuclear-powered submarines to Australia, which scuttled President Emmanuel Macron's conventional submarine deal. While freight relations need to be repaired, analysts say it's unlikely to have long-term impact.
The bigger issue with U.S. credibility is whether or not the United States can continue to signal that it's willing to kind of provide global public goods of security, of economic aid to its allies and partners, and when necessary, to work with the rest of the globe.
That opportunity will come Wednesday when Biden convenes a virtual COVID-19 summit to rally world leaders to recommit in the fight against the pandemic. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News.
We were hearing there a report by VOA of what President Biden, the President of the United States, said at the UN General Assembly, which is currently underway, and we're also expecting that Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa will speak at the event shortly. And PJ, I think we have one of our guests that I've seen coming in, but before we bring them up, we might want to take a look at the COVID situation in the country as we, look at the pandemic, which is, it's still going on. And currently the Ministry of Health has been giving out figures of how the situation stands on the ground. And looking at that, and looking at also the inoculation or the vaccination program that the ministry is actually conducting at the present moment, we will be giving you the figures of how it stands. Currently, the Ministry of Health says as of yesterday, September the 22nd, for now, since March last year, there are 128,000 people, over 128,000 people that have confirmed cases of COVID-19, including 121,656 recoveries, and unfortunately, 4,592 deaths. And we've also seen that the total number of people that have actually received the COVID-19 vaccinations currently stand at over 2.9 million in the country. PJ.
And those that have been that have gotten the 2 doses are over 2 million right now, 2,130,553. And as of yesterday only, there were about 15,836 people that got their first dose, and 23,655 who got their second dose. And for those that were tested yesterday, about 5,331 of them, 340 were found positive of COVID-19, and 16 people died yesterday because of COVID-19 as well. So the rate is also encouraging. 213 as of yesterday, but total of them are 121,653.
Yes, PJ. I think we've got our guests that have actually joined us, so we will be speaking to them shortly. But over to you, PJ, to just take us into the day.
Yes, siyalamukela zihlobo kuhlelo lethu lalamhlanje, uhlelo asihluzeni bomama. Igama lami uPraxis Jeremiah, ngimeleke osithandekile emhlanga lamhlanje. Sikhangela ke kuhlelo lethu lamhlanje uhlelo lokuhlatshwa kwabantu ijekiseni lokuzivikela emkhuhlaneni owe COVID-19 eZimbabwe, okulinani elokhe liqansa okwamagama abantu bebabaza kwamanye amazwe ukuthi eleZimbabwe likhanya ngani ngelinye lamazwe aphumelelayo ekuhlabeni abantu ijekiseni leli. Lanxa inombolo zabantu ababanjwa yileli gciwane selingani liyehla kancane, kodwa umthwalo ulokhe usesekhona. Abogatsha lwezempilakahle kunje babika ukubana sebenelise ukuhlaba abantu abedlula kancane izigidi ezimbili, 2.1 million ngokugcweleyo ijekiseni le lokuzivikela ku-COVID-19, kuthi abangakaqedisisi ukuhlaba sebephose bafike kuzigidi ezintathu, 2.9 million. Kuthi-ke ngokutshona kwelanga layizolo babika ukubana kulabantu abaphezulu kwamakhulu amathathu, 340, abahlolwe batholakala bele COVID-19 phakathi kwabantu abedlula 5,000, 5,000 abahloliweyo izolo kuphela. Kodwa-ke leli gciwane licine libulala abantu abalishumi lasithupha, 16. Konke lokhu kwenzakala ngesikhathi mbeleleke ukuzwa amazwi kamongameli Emerson Mnangagwa awethulayo emhlanganweni omkhulu wezizwe zomhlaba wenhlanganiso ye-United Nations, umhlangano owe-United Nations General Assembly kumbe UNGA. Kayenelisanga-ke ukuthi aze emhlanganweni lo eNew York khona lapha eMelika njengenye inkokheli evele kwamanye amazwe. Wakhetha-ke ukuthi ethule umbiko wakhe ebulenjini. Yikho-ke sizakuzwa ngokuya kwezikhathi nxa kuyikuthi siyabe siwutholile kulowo mbiko awethule e-United Nations, sizalethulela khona lapha kuhlelo. Kodwa njalo nxa kuyikuthi asiwutholanga lowo mbiko, sizalethulela kusasa ekuseni kuhlelo lwethu olwezindaba zesiNdebele ngo6:30 ekuseni. Kodwa-ke ebulenjini lizawuthola lumbiko. Abanengi balemibono ehlukeneyo eZimbabwe ngokuphathwa kohlelo lolu olwe COVID-19, iziqondiso zama-restrictions kumbe sithi i-COVID-19 lockdown, ngokuphathwa okwenziwe ngumongameli Mnangagwa, abanye besekela ukuthi wenze kuhle, ululwisile sibili ubhubhane lolu ole COVID-19 ngokuhlaba abantu amajekiseni ngokuphangisa, ngokuthenga kanye lokwamukela izipho zamajekiseni wona lawa, ikakhulu avele kwele China lakwele India. Wahle wahlaba abantu kusesemasinya, wakhokhelela emazweni awezwekazi labensundu ele-Afrika ekuhlabeni abantu ijekiseni leli. Kubikwa kulabantu abangaba yisilinganiso sokulitshumi ekhulwini, 10% abasebehlatshiwe eZimbabwe kuphela nxa sikhangele. Ngakho-ke bayamncoma umongameli Mnangagwa ukuthi wenelisile ukuhlaba abantu.
PJ, if I can just come in there, the president is actually addressing right now. So let's switch over and just listen, because he actually said something about women to what he's saying in the UN.
This year's high-level meetings marked important dialogues at the heart of sustainable development in its 3 dimensions: the Biodiversity Summit and the SIS, as well as the Nutrition for Growth Summit, all lined up this year, complement our efforts towards a healthy planet. Green energy is an enabler for building back better and is crucial to the direct achievement of SDGs, while playing a key role in mitigating climate change. The high-level dialogue on energy sets the stage for exploring viable, renewable, and green energy solutions. As we do so, let us link economic growth with the accelerated transition to net zero emission for a climate resilient future. My country and the parts of Southern African region continue to experience the devastating impacts of climate change, ranging from cyclone-induced floods, recurrent droughts, and the shorter rain season, hotter summers, and the colder winters. This is in spite of the fact that our continent is the least polluter. COP26 in Glasgow must therefore be about action and the fulfillment of decisions of the past. In addition, concrete financial support is essential to combat climate change beyond mere rhetoric. The 2030 Agenda remains our shared roadmap to achieve the future we all want. For us in Zimbabwe, eradicating poverty and eliminating hunger remains a top priority. Climate change and resultant erratic weather patterns, growing populations, coupled with the effects of the pandemic on food supply chains, demand a shift from our traditional food production processing, distribution, and consumption patterns. My government has established a firm foundation for sustained food production through the land distribution program, as well as increased support for communal and smallholder farmers. This has led to broader and sustainable incomes for the majority of people living in rural areas, who now contribute to the increased levels of household and national food and nutrition security. The United Nations Food Systems Summit provides a welcome platform for new actions, innovative solutions, and the plans to deliver progress across all of the SDGs and the Paris Agreement. Mr. President, Zimbabwe launched Vision 2030.
We're hearing there from President Emerson Mnangagwa, who was speaking he's actually currently addressing virtually the United Nations, but we will be having the full report if you follow us on Studio 7 later on today. So we'll go back to our program where we are looking at issues affecting women. And I think, PJ, you can carry on and just close out what you were saying, because I literally came in because I noticed that the president was now live. So we, took some of what he's saying at the meeting, but the full report will be on Studio 7. Go ahead.
Yeah, njengokutsho kwami ngaphambili kombiko lo okamongameli Emerson Mnangagwa uyethula okwamanje isikhuluma nje e-United Nations emhlanganweni owe-UNGA. Bengisathi laphana ukhangelelwe ukuthi uzakwethula namhlanje, uhle wethula ngasikhathi sinye. Ngakho-ke sibe lethuba elihle njalo inhlanhla yamaswazi ukuthi sihle sawuthola umbiko wangikhona. Senza khuluma-ke sisithi ukhulume ngani lapho sisizwa silalele lapho ukhulume uphathe kumbijana inzwisa yena le esizwileyo. Okunengi sizakuzwa-ke kuhlelo lwethu oluzalandela oluzaphuma enkundleni yokuxhumana ye-Facebook kanye lendabeni ezesindebele ezekuseni ezika6:30 kusasa ekuseni. Kodwa-ke engikubambileyo kuthathu uphathe ngodaba lokulwisana lodubo olwekuguquka komkhathi i-climate change. Waphatha njalo udaba lokuthi iZimbabwe iphakathi kokulwisana lokwehlisa inhlupho ezidalwa yibuyanga, i-poverty eradication. Wazophatha njalo iziqondiso zama-SDGs ezentuthuko lokunye okunjalo njalo. Ukhulumile njalo ngedaba zabesifazane, kodwa-ke asisazwanga okunengi ngendaba zabesifazane ukuthi uluphathe njani udaba lwabesifazane. Inkululeko yabesifazane, ukungena kwabo kunkokheli kanye lakwezombusazwe kalula, njengoba bengabantu abavele besephulelwa ilungelo labo ngezikhathi eziningi njalo bevinjwa ukubana bangene kunkundla leyi eyobukhokheli. Kungelula kibo ukuthi bangene kulezo zikhundla. Yikho-ke enguzwileyo okulutshwana okwethulileyo kusiqephu sona leso esisifake emoyeni andubana mina ngikhulume khathesi. Marvelous.
Aiwa, apo tanga tiri kunzwa CCPJ vanga vari kutaura ivo zvimwe zvezvinhu zvanga zviri kutaurwa nemutungamiri wenyika vari chiri kuenderera mberi vachitaura pari zvino, asi change tiri kukupai zviri kubuda kumusangano uyu weUnited Nations mukateerera pastudio 7 nenguva dza7 o'clock, uyezve pachirongwa chedu chemangwanani pafacebook page, ese mafacebook page edu pari zvino, VOA Shona, VOA Ndebele neVOA Studio 7. Mukaenda ipapo pari zvino vari kutowanikwa ivo vachitaura kumusangano uyu weUnited Nations, sezvo sekunzwa kwatakaita kubva kuhurumende havana kukwanisa kuuya kuno kuAmerica pamusoro penyaya yedenda rechirwere cheCovid-19, saka vari kutaura vari padandemutande pari zvino. asi tochienderera mberi zvedu nenyaya yedu nhasi tine vanyarikani vakawanda vari kuda kupinda muchirongwa vachitiudzawo zvavari kuita semadzimai panyaya yekuti vawanikwe ivo vachibatsirawo madzimai vari munharaunda dzakasiyana-siyana munyika uyezve nevanasikana vechidiki panguva ino yeCovid-19. Tinoona isu kuti bazi rezveutano rinozivisa iro kuti kubva muna Machi gore rapfuura Zimbabwe pari zvino panyaya iyi yeCovid-19 kune vanhu 128,804 vawanikwa ivo vachibatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19 kubva ratanga muna Machi gore rapfuura. Tozotarisa zvakare kuti pari zvino pane vanhu vakabatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19 asi vakarikunda vari pa121,653 kubva muna Machi gore rapfuura. Totarira vakabatwa nedenda iri vakatisiya vari pa4,592 pari zvino. Totarira zvakare yatingati yechirongwa chekubaya vanhu nhomba yeCovid-19 pari zvino vanhu vabayiwa nhomba yeCovid-19 munyika vari pa2.9 million vachidaudzira. Tichitarisa kuti nyika yeZimbabwe iri kuti iyo inoda kuwanikwa ichibaya vanhu vanosvika ivo 10 million kuti denda iri rigokwanisa kuwanikwa iro richirwiswa. Todzokera zvakare pane zvanga zvirikutaurwa navaMnangagwa, taona vachibata-bata nyaya yemamiriro ekunze, vakabata-bata chaizvo nyaya yavari kuti iyo yepoverty kana kuti urombo, yavari kuti vari kuedza kuti vaite zvavanoita kuti urombo huwanikwe iwe huchigadziriswa. Asi kana murida kunyatsonzwa zvavari kutaura pari zvino, endai paFacebook page yedu yeVOA Shona, vari ipapo vachikurukura vachinyatsotsanangudza zviri kuitika. Regai tibva tatora vamiriri vedu vari pano vemamwe mapato kana kuti maorganization vatawanikwa isu vanyarikani vedu vatitsika muzuva ranhasi. Regai nditange naamai Lucy Ndombwe Chikowero vari pano. Tinokuchingamidzai nemufaro pano pachirongwa chedu.
Tinotenda sisimavi.
Mungatitsananguruwo here kuti organization yenyu inonzi chii uyezve kuti zvii zvamuri kuita kuZimbabwe panguva ino yeCovid-19 zvekubatsira vanogara muZimbabwe?
Organization yedu inonzi MTC Educate a Girl Foundation. Ibato rakatangwa nemwanasikana ane makore 16 pari zvino okuzvarwa. Rinoshanda nevana atingati ma-adolescent girls mumaruva, kukurudzira nyaya dzekusarodzwa kwevana vadiki, zvakare kuti vanasikana vatambe mitambo yavanoda, zvakare kuti vange vachiwanikwa vachienda kuchikoro. Saka organization iyi ichitungamirwa nemwana uyu ine vasikana almost 20 vari pascholarship program, kozoita over 400 vari kutamba bhora munzvimbo dzakasiyana-siyana maakadyara the idea. So pari zvino achanga achipemberera zuva revanasikana rinopembererwa pasi rose musi wa11 October, rinonzi International Day of the Girl Child. But iye semunhu anotambawo nhabvu zvakare anotuhwira, akati ndoda kupemberera nevasikana vemunharaunda, akati achawanikwa achiita soccer tournament yaakadaidza 6 girls team dzaakati ngadziuye dziuye kuzotamba bhora tichipemberera pamwe chete zuva iri, tichinyanya dingindira repasi rose gore rino rinoti digital generation, our generation. But iye akati sezvo ndiri mudiki and takatarisana nenyaya yamemory machaya yakamboitika, akazowanikwa achizikanwa kunzi anonzi Ana Machaya, akashaya achisununguka aine makore 14. Akati ndiri kuda kuti dingindira rangu inini ringe rinonzi nothing for girls without the girls, end child marriages now. So akadaidza vatungamiri vemasvondo, vana mambo, makansela nevakadero kuti vakwanise kunge vachiuya pazuva iri and vasikana vachizviexpressa, vachitaura zviri pamwoyo pavo zvinoenderana nekuchengetedzwa kwekodzero dzavo sevanasikana.
Mutambo uyu uchange uri kuitirwa kupi?
Mutambo uyu uchange uchiitirwa kunedziwa kuchimanimani, district rechimanimani neMutare West makanga makashayikira Ana, they are just neighbors, zvekuti vamwe vasikana vanototambira timu yake inonzi MTC Sirens vanotopinda kuchechi iyoyo, vanotoenda kugungano ravo ikoko kunana pastor nezvose vanenge vachitoitira ikoko. Saka akaona zvakakodzera kutodaidza vakuru vemasvondo acho nevemitemo, zvakare odaidza maexperts aya atingati vanoziva zvakanyanya nyaya dzesexual and reproductive health kuti vange vachiuya vachizotaura, nekuti munguva yeCovid ino nekuvharirwa kwanga kwakaita vana takaona kuti vana vazhinji chaizvo havana kukwanisa kudzokera kuchikoro pakavhurwa chikoro. Mutungamiri wenyika ati nyika ichivhurwa vana vadzokera kuchikoro. Zvakare pakaita vasikana vakati one day vakawanikwa vachiita pamuviri. Saka ndo chimwe chezvikonzero chazonyanya kuti izvi zvinge zvakakoshera maka anova mutungamiri weMTC. Akasanganawo zvakare nevamwe vemapato akaita sana Global Ties Zimbabwe nana Girls and Goals nana Rosaria Memorial Trust, vana Youth Vibes, ana maningi vose vachange vachiunza unyanzvi hwavo mukutraya kuti shoko irori rekusarodza kwevana rifambe, vachipa zvavanokwanisa zvakare zvinoenderana nedzidziso kuti tikwanise kuataka dambudziko rekurodzwa kwevana.
Aiwa, tinotenda. Maybe before I let you go, if you can just tell us in brief, what tournament are you organizing and why is it important at this particular time during COVID-19?
Yes, the tournament that we're organizing is called the International Day of the Girl Child celebrations. It is being organized by MTC Educated Girl together with partners such as Global Ties Zimbabwe, Rosaria Memorial Trust, Girls and Girls, Youth Vibes, Maningi, Siboniwe. These are organizations that work really on trying to end child marriages in Zimbabwe. So we found that MTC operates in Chimani-Mani. And Chimani-Mani is just border to the district where the late Anna Machaya actually passed on while giving birth. So MTC has programs such as the soccer programs and education programs. That's the main thrust. And the aim is on ending child marriages and empowering young women and girls. So this time they're inviting the leaders of the community, church leaders, as well as the local elected and appointed leadership of the area, so that the girls themselves can amplify their messaging on ending child marriages. So in the tournament, we are going to have 6 teams of senior girls and 2 teams of junior girls who will be playing soccer. So it is also to show that girls also love to do those sports that are normally considered male-dominated sports.
Thank you so much, Amayi Lucy and Ndongwe Chikowero. There we're hearing from her, just telling us about a soccer tournament that they're organizing during this COVID-19 pandemic. And over to you now, PJ, to just take us through. We have 2 guests here with us. So I have Sharon Jovo, and I also have another guest. So I will bring both of them up so that you can decide who to go with first. Let me bring in our guest, and then we can go ahead and carry on with the program. If you can just introduce yourself as you come on and tell us about your organizations.
Siyalamukela makhosikazi uhlelo ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nge-short notice lihlelo abakhona emsakazweni. Nonkosikazi Sharon Njobo oyintatheli izindaba owasebenzela eZimbabwe kodwa khathesi usehlala eCanada. Siyakwamukela Sharon.
Ngiyabonga.
Sibe njalo lesithandwa sami usehlile Gumbo, Magumbo, siyakwamukela kuhlelo.
Ngiyabonga ma.
Ngamafitshane ngiqale ngawe Sharon. Lenzani khona ngapho ngaseCanada njengabomama ukuthi ngalesi sikhathi sokumelana leCovid-19 khona ngapho ngaseCanada kanye njalo laseZimbabwe.
Wow, okay. Asiwumbuzo akade ngizilungisele wona lo, but kongasenani. Ngingathi eCanada akula engingathi okumangalisayo esikwenzileyo nge-COVID-19 in terms of ukuthi senze ama-efforts abambeneyo sibe inhlanganyelo eyenza something sindawonye. Kodwa there is one project esiyenzileyo eyokuphathisa amabhizimusi awabomama aseZimbabwe angabe ehlaselwe yi-COVID-19.
Yeah.
So women-owned businesses that have been negatively affected by COVID-19. Esikwenzileyo sibuthanise imali and sasesithi amalunga ethu sile nhlanganiso yethu esihlangana khona ku-Facebook ngesonto ntambama sixoxa ngezinto ezijiyeneyo. So sasesibona ukuthi omama abanengi benza imisebenzi yokuthengisa. Njalo nxa sikhangela i-COVID-19 ukuthi sivikeleke ku-COVID-19 bekudingeka ukuthi sihlale ezindlini singahambi kungabi lokuhlangana kwabantu. Njalo ukwenza njalo ku-affecte ibhizimusi zabomama ikakhulu ngoba amabhizimusi abomama esikhathini esiningi adinga ukubana sihlangane ubuso nobuso. So sasesihlanganisa imali, sasesithi amalunga ethu adinge asicebise amabhizimusi angabe esefuna ukuwiswa yi-COVID-19. So basebethumela-ke amabizo awabantu abalamabhizimusi ekhaya bekhuluma njalo ukuthi ibhizimusi leyo i-affectwa njani yi-COVID-19. Njalo sivulile ukuthi lanxa ule bhizimusi ekhaya usitshele wena directly ngebhizinesi yakho ukuthi i-affectwe njani yi-COVID-19. Esikhathini esiningi nxa kusenzakala inhlelo ezifana lalezi ukurejista kwakhona kusuka kuphica abantu abaningi kuba complicated kufuneka information eningi ubhale izikhiwa eziningi amabala amakhulu kakhulu utshengisa amanombolo ukuthi ibhizimusi yakho yenza njani. But njengabomama sikuzwisisile ukuthi iprocess complicated ilakho ukwethusela omama abaningi begcine lanxa amabhizimusi abo etatarika besehluleka ukuthi bakukhulume ngendlela engabatholisa imali. So thina sathi you know what njengabomama sichitha isikhathi esiningi siku-WhatsApp. So sasesithi nxa ukwanisa ukutexta nxa ukwanisa ukufaka i-voice note faka i-voice note uchasise. So lokho sikwenzela ukuthi sikhiphe esingathi ngesikhiwo ngama-barriers angabe encindezela omama ukuthi labo bathole ithuba lokuthola imali engabaphathisa ukuthi bavuselele amabhizimusi abo. So sathola ama-applications ambalwa. From ama-applications lawo sasesiba labantu abathathu, omama abathathu abaseZimbabwe ababayibo abanqobayo ngingathi abatholayo. Well, in this case there are no winners because all those women benza imisebenzi ebalulekileyo. So because of imali ubufitshane bezandla senelisa ukuphathisa omama abathathu. Sabona ukuthi singaphathisa omama kumabhizimusi abo kuyabanceda lemulini because ezinye izigaba zosizo okufana lempahla zokuzivikela o-PPE babe khona abaningi ababekwenza lokho. But sasesinanzelela ukuthi amabhizinisi amaningi engawiswa yi-COVID. Yikho sathi ngcono senzeni siphathise omama ukuthi amabhizimusi abo angawiswa yi-COVID. I think ngamafitshane yikho engingakutsho ukuthi yikho esakwenzayo njengabomama be-263 True North lapha eCanada ngesikhathi se-COVID.
Wathi fahla ngamafitshane ukuthi yona i-263 North inhlanganiso enjani khona ngapho ngaseCanada?
Okay. I-263 True North inhlanganiso yabomama abazalwa eZimbabwe, abalobuhlobo leZimbabwe, singabomama abavela eZimbabwe but esesihlezi lapha eCanada. So iZimbabwe yonke nje jikelele abavela ezigabeni eziningi, even ubuso benje ebuchiyene silabo mama beZimbabwe abamhlophe, abayi-brown, abamnyama, sihlangene khona lapho ku-263 True North. U-263 njengoba sonke sisazi yiyo i-area code yefoni yeZimbabwe. I-True North yibizo leCanada esizinika lona thina njengama-Canadians ngapha, saziwa ukuthi yi-True North ngoba yithi esisekucineni duzane lezulwini. So yikho lapho okuvela khona ibizo lethu. Njengabomama sananzelela ukuthi kule ndingeko esilazo lapha eCanada ezingasuthisekiyo kwamanye ama-group akhona ku-Facebook. Njalo kade sifuna indawo yethu lapho esihlangana khona engathi esitheza khona inkuni, esikha khona amanzi, lapho ukuthi siyakwanisa ukuxoxa, siyakwanisa ukufunda, siyakwanisa ukucebisana. Esikhathini esiningi sithola ukuthi sigcina sixoxa ikakhulu ngezomnotho, okuzithuthukisa ngezomnotho njengabomama, lokukhusela i-wellness, i-mental wellness, bekubalulekile ikakhulu eminyangeni lezi ezidlulileyo ukuthi sibe in touch, sibe sixoxisana ngendaba ze-mental wellness njengoba kade sesikhathini esibe kangaka ese-COVID-19.
Sokuvalelwa ezindlini. Yeah, before I go on to give you the platform to say whatever you were doing in Ndebele into English. Mav, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I actually just wanted to just brief those listening, like what exactly is your organization doing at this particular time to assist women? Because I could understand here and there, but I just wanted to pick your brain and see whether, you know, women out there and how can they join in?
Okay.
I don't think I quite got Marvelous.
Okay, she's just saying the same thing that I said, that can you briefly explain what is 263 True North in English instead of Ndebele?
Oh, okay, sure. So yes, 263 True North is really a constellation of Zimbabwean women who now live in Canada. And we created this space and platform, recognizing that as Zimbabwean women in Canada, we have our unique needs, we have our unique aspiration and requirements because of the context and the opportunities and the challenges that are presented to us here in Canada. Those unique needs were not being met in the many very useful women's groups that exist out there. So we've created this space so we can come and support each other, to lean on each other, to learn from one another, and to lead each other. So it's an area for support and for growth. It has served us particularly well during COVID-19, where we had a space to learn about our mental wellness, be able to identify when someone is in crisis or when I am in crisis. We have also looked at how we can leverage the opportunities that were presented by COVID-19 to move forward in the area of economic participation and wealth creation. And we are also looking at our position of privilege being here in Canada, how we can support women back home in Zimbabwe. And I shared an example of what we did. Our focus was on women in business. A lot of the women in business in Zimbabwe are in the retail informal sector, which largely relies on in-person transactions. And these were the transactions that were disproportionately impacted by the restrictions that require for the management and prevention of COVID-19. So we had a contest where women were invited to submit their proposals for how they stating how COVID-19 had impacted them and how additional funding could support them to either resuscitate the business or to sustain the business or to grow the business during the pandemic. And what I liked about what we did was the model that we devised, which eliminated a lot of the barriers that intimidate women from participating in similar calls for funding because of the complex nature of these calls for funding. What we did was we asked women to send us a text via WhatsApp or to even send a voice note and explain what they did, how they've been impacted, and how they are going to use the money. And we worked with agents in Zimbabwe who visited the women to understand better what their specifics were and to continue to keep in touch with those women to support their businesses. We felt it was important to support the women's businesses as we recognized that it was among the many things that were done, that this was one of the sustainable ways, dignified ways of helping not just the woman, but the household and the community as a whole.
Maybe before we move on to our next guest, if you could say the same thing in Shona before we move on to our next guest, and then we'll give you a break.
Okay, yes. Ande inaro bora. I saw Maimaka before me and I marveled at how, oh God, her Shona is so perfect. But anyway, so here is the Shona Gwanda version. Okay, so pa 263 takaita platform yedu patinosangana semadzimai, tinosangana on Sundays patinoita live program yedu, tinodzidzisana, tinobetserana, and rubatsiro rwatinowana nekupanana, it ranges. It can be economic support. A lot of the things zvatakaita panguva ye-COVID-19 was tarisana kuti tiri kuita sei panguva ye-COVID-19, especially when it came to our mental wellness. Takadzidza zvakawanda about wellness yedu, especially mentally, kuti how ndinoziya sei inini semudzimai kuti pandave apa handina kumira zvakanaka, uyezve ndingaziye sei kuti asawira vangu zvinhu hazvisi kuvafambira, uyezve ndinotaura navo sei kana ndaona kuti vari in a crisis specific panyaya ye-mental wellness. And then zvatakaita semadzimai kutarisira zviri kuitika kumba nekuti vari kumusha COVID-19 yakavarova sei. Takaona kuti madzimai akawanda vanoita zvemabhizimusi ekutengesa nekutengeserana, and kuita mabhizimusi akadai zvinoda vanhu vachionana, vanhu vachi in person.
Saka makakwanisa kubatsira sei pane ivavo vanga vari kutarisana nezvimhingamupini vari kuZimbabwe, imi muri ikoko kuCanada?
Okay, takaona kuti vakadzi vakawanda mabhizinesi avo anogona kufa, and anyway akawanda mabhizinesi akatotsakatika because of vaitadza kufambira makastoma anga asingagoni kuuya kwavari. Tikabatanidza mari semadzimai e263 True North, tikashedzera madzimai vanoita nezvebhizinesi kuZimbabwe, tikati vatiudze kuti bhizinesi ravo ra-impactwa sei ne-COVID-19, uyezve rubatsiro rwavari kuda kuti bhizinesi ravo risafa kana kuti bhizinesi ravo kana ratofa rinosimudzika sei. Takaona kuti tikati vanyore mapepa sezvinoitwa nevamwe zvinogona kunetsa madzimai akawanda, uyezve tinogona kuwana ma-applications anobva kumadzimai akadzidza namazvikokota. Tikati kune madzimai, imimi teaching nyorerai in whatever language yamuri comfortable, communicate with us nenzira yamunogona yamuri comfortable imini. Saka madzimai vakatitumira WhatsApp text, vamwe vakatitumira ari voice note vachitsanangura, and then tikaita committee yakazotarisa ma-applications aya. Committee iyo ndiyo yakazosarudza madzimai 3 atakabatsira kuti mabusiness avo urayiwe nema-restrictions aya e-COVID-19. Ndo zvatakaita, because as a group tinofarira economic empowerment ne-wealth creation.
Tinotenda achiregai titore vamwe munyarikani vedu vagara vatimirira zvakare, ende handiri kungovaona vamboenda vakadzoka, asi iye zvinezvi vapo tombosverera toenda paBritain apo tinzwe kuti kwakwinu uko kwakamira sei, uyezve mabhizinisi api avari kubata panguva ino yeCovid-19. PJ.
Makumbo, siyakwamukela kuhlelo.
Ngiyabonga mama linjani?
Wothi ngunike lawo ithuba. Volume ye one of your gadgets, I think kuba le echo.
Okay.
Uthi fahla ngamafitshane ukuthi lina njengoba likubhizimusi yona le marketing networking, kulihambele njani ngalesi sikhathi khona ngapho ngaseBilitani?
Ngiyabonga, ngingazi ukuthi echo ingabe siphelile yini, uyangizwa kakuhle?
Hayi, kule echo.
Yo.
Volume yakho.
Ngiyenze njani?
I think she can go ahead. On this end, we are not hearing the echo. She can go ahead.
Oh, yebo, kulungile. Bathi kabayizwa i-echo, ngakho ke qhubeka lawo.
Okay, ngiyabonga kakhulu PJ ngesikhathi onike sona ukuthi sikhulume sixoxisane, especially ngesikhathi esiphila kiso. Like PJ engi-introduceile mina, ibizo lami nguSehlile Gumbo, ngokuzalwa ngizalwa eCholocho eZimbabwe. Kathesi ngise UK. Tina sisebenza le company, we are affiliated with the company esileminyaka eyi-43. Sihlezi for the past 43 years. Sihlezi sikhuthaza ngama-immune system ngokuzigcina umuntu umzimba wakhe ulama amasotsha eqinile. So i-COVID-19 ithe ibuya, into eyenzile isenze iyenze abantu abaningi basizwa ukuthi hayi ile into yiyo akade sithi bantu limukani, imzimba yethu kayiqinanga, kumele sihlale vele sizilungiselele, kufanele sihlale into othiwa yi-immune system ihlale ilungiselelile. Asibeni mindful, sizinanzelele ukuthi sidlani. So ngesikhathi lesi se-COVID-19 sibone thina kube yi-opportunity or yisikhathi esihle kithi ngoba sikhulumisane labantu ngendlela ezinye ezokuzwisisana, ngoba ezikhathini ezingamuva abantu abaningi besingelandaba lemzimba yethu. Abantu abaningi besikwanisa ukuthi imota yami ingakhwehlela namhla ngihle ngigijime ngihambise kusevisi ngiqede imali eziningi, kodwa thina umzimba wethu sikhohle ukuthi silomzimba oyi-1, awusoze wafa waba nomunye umzimba owaba lesinye ispe. So noma bekuyi-problem ukuthi umkhuhlane lo we-COVID-19 ubuye ngendlela embi, kodwa sifunde okuningi. Wenze abantu baqalisa ukuthi bebone ukuthi hayi imzimba iqakathekile. Kodwa thina sesikukhangela when it comes, sokubuya futhi ngapho ukuthi alright, sisebenza kanjani? Sivele sisebenza ngokuthi impilakahle yomuntu number 1, isikhwama somuntu number 1, konke laba ngabo number 1 abayi-2. Isikhwama sakho kufanele uhlale unemali, kufanele uhlale umzimba wakho uzinakekele. So thina ngendlela esebenza ngayo sivele sisebenzela ezindlini, sivele sihlezi sikhuluma ukuthi hayi ungami ngento eyi-1 ibhizinisi lethu sithi ungami ngento eyi-1, hlala noma usemsebenzini, qala okunye nje okulidobho esayidini okuzakwenza ukuthi ubuzuza kancane kancane. So konke lokhu into zonke kade sizikhankasela eminyakeni edlulileyo, yonke into ibe dandalazi lo nyaka ukuthi yebantu phela nini 18 months abantu bavalelwe abakwanisi ukusebenza, kodwa thina besilokhu sisebenza ngoba ukusebenza kwethu akudingi qualification, akudingi office, kudinga wena lo mlomo wakho. So sithuthukisa kulabantu abaningi esibathuthukisileyo ngesikhathi se-COVID-19. Bakhona yebo abade bengezwa kuhle labo bathola uncedo, bakhona njalo abanye abekade abalahlekelwe imisebenzi, saseva impilo zabantu abaningi, imisebenzi sakwanisa ukuthi sincedise abantu ukuthi baqale amabhizinisi abo be-under i-leadership, proper leadership, ngoba sibona ukuthi ukuqala ibhizinisi kwesinye isikhathi kunzima uma uwedwa. Kwabe kufuna ube lomunye umuntu ozokufundisa, ozokubamba isandla akucathulise. So ngamafitshane yikho isiqokoqela sethu silokho sisiya phambili, sifuna ukusebenzela abantu abaningi, sincedise abantu abaningi, si-minimize ama-effects awe-COVID.
Yeah, usebenzela i-marketing network. Yeah. Ngingakaphi umbuzo wami olandelayo engxenye yomavila isikhathi asisavuni.
Yes, PJ, I was listening in and, hearing what she's explaining about the role of the organization. Maybe just give us in a nutshell in English so that people understand how important was it for you, because we're talking about most people prioritize, their work and their cars, but they don't prioritize themselves. Tell us a little bit about that, and then also how can people contact you, because we need to get in our other guests, but time is not on our side in 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, Marvelous. It is very important. I can't emphasize enough the importance of taking care of yourself or taking care of your body. In our business, or what we say, you is important. Your body is important. You have to take care of yourself. You need to really build your immune system. I'm available on WhatsApp, my numbers, you want me to say my numbers? My numbers 0755, that is +44 755 1242 661. Or you can look me up on Facebook. We deal with different people from all levels. We'll take you from wherever you are. If you are a CEO, we'll come and talk the CEO level. And if you are not that much versed with whatever, even if you've got limited knowledge, English or Shona on Ndebele, or limited beliefs in yourself on why you will not start a business, we are there to encourage, to coach, to mentor, and to make sure that you and your family, you are healthy. So all what we are doing is making sure that people live healthier lives and they are well empowered. But we work with everyone, men and women, but mostly I prefer working with women.
Thank you so much. Apo tripunzwa kubva kuna maisehlile Gumbo vari kutaura ivo vari paBritain apo vachitaura kuti panguva ino yeCovid-19 vazhinji havanyanyotarisa kuti miri yavo yakamira sei, vanokoshesa zvinhu zvakawanda sekugadzirisa mota, kuti imba yakamira sei, asi vasingakoshese nyaya yeutano hwavo. Saka vanga vari kuti ivo nesangano ravanoshandira ndo zvavari kuita pari zvino. Rekaiti dzokere kwamuri Sharon, mungotipa kuti where can people actually contact you, because unfortunately time is not on our side, we're running out of time. Those that want to join what you're doing or maybe to help some of these women that you've selected, the 3 women from Zimbabwe, where do they join you?
Okay. On Facebook, we are 263 True North, 263 True North on Facebook. And you can also find me via my website. It's called www.thefirestarter.ca, www.thefirestarter.ca.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you can maybe tell us, do you have any other projects that you're working on that you'd like people to know about before we let you go?
Absolutely. I'm all about creation of generational wealth. And as 263 True North, we have incorporated 2 companies that are investing in Canada. We invest in real estate through our 2 separate companies. And through the Firestarter, I have incorporated a global entity with women from different countries who are investing in real estate in North Cyprus. And at the moment, working with a group of women from Zimbabwe and Canada, and we are channeling resources towards investment and development in Zimbabwe. We are in the process of incorporating our newest baby, and she's called Link Market.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. And how can people join that Link Market?
So yes, reach me on the firestarter.ca. There is a contact me page. And I am also very active on social media. On Facebook, it's Sharon Jobo. It's very easy to request to befriend, and I will be happy to partner with you, because I believe that the solution specifically for Zimbabwe will come from us here. We have a huge part to play as diasporans, and specifically as women. We are in a privileged position to repurpose our remittances from consumptive to investment and development.
Thank you so much there, Sharon. We will come back to you to just maybe give in your last word. If I don't, thank you so much. Let me try and see if Miss Lucy Chikowero will come in and give her last word. She has been patiently waiting while we've been hearing about what others are doing in Zimbabwe. Amai Chikowero, motipa mazwene kupedzisira nguva yedu yadya nani.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Sisma, for allowing me to speak on behalf of the girls, and also to invite anyone interested in or being part of the International Day of the Girl Child, the upcoming International of the Day Child. Preparations are underway. The girls are so excited. We have been posting videos of them training and some snippets of what they are saying. Looking forward to this day. And also on the day, we reached out to the Ministry of Health. There'll actually be a vaccination clinic going on, because we'll be like complementing the government efforts to get people vaccinated against the COVID-19. So it will be an exciting day for the young people as well as for the adults, and also to amplify the message on ending child marriages.
Vanhu vanokubata ipapi kana vakuda kushanda nemi pane zvirongwa zvenyu, mongoti gaga tiendewo kuna Miss Gumbo.
Okay, tiripo pa Facebook is MTC Educated Girl Inc. Tine website www.mtceducateagirlinc.org. Kana pa Twitter is at MTC Girl. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to request friendship or to inbox. We usually check messages and respond within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Let's go now to the UK. Ms. Gumbo, if you can give us in Ndebele your last word before we bring in PJ so that we can close out the program.
Okay, ngiyabonga Marvelous. Into engayitsho ukuthi bantu bakithi sisesikhathini esibi, kumele sizinakekele noma kunjani, noma kunzima, noma kunjani, impilo iqhakathekile. Asisebenzenini sonke sibone ukuthi siyavikela okuvikelekayo, sizenze umzimba yethu iqine, and simake sure ukuthi lasezikhwameni siba lamabhizinisi angakwanisa ukuthi asurvive esikhathini esibi esikiso. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. Ms. PJ, you just came in at the right time. Thank you so much. If you would go ahead and thank your guests, I would like to thank Ms. Lusindongwe Chukowero, who was here talking about a tournament that they are planning to do on International Day of the Girl Child next month.
Yeah, hayi mina lami ngithatha ithuba lokubonga linabalaleli bethu ngokusibukela isilalele kulolu hlelo lethu namhlanje asihluzeni bomama. Ngibonge njalo uSharon Njobo mna wami kanye loSehlile Gumbo abasiphathisileyo kuhlelo lethu lwalamhlanje. Ngilethemba lifunde okuningi. Oliver Lelisayo uPraxedes Jeremiah ngimeleke thandekile mhla.
Ini Marvelous Mhlanganyahuye and Chitimuve may a very good night. I'm Marvelous Mhlanganyahuye in Washington, D.C. saying have a very good evening.